our aims of promoting towards and promoting access to quality education, getting to have access to some opportunities that are going to help you in your educational life and career development as well. We have programs like monthly seminars. We have an international leadership bootcamp. We also have some specific programs that are targeted at meeting some particular demand, such as this one, which is about scholarship application. So today, our discussion is going to be on scholarship application secret. The essence is to introduce participants, our volunteers, and everyone, most especially students and recent graduates, those who are looking for opportunities to go abroad to study or to win some scholarships. So we discovered that there are a lot of people, some actually have the CV, they have the profile, but they don't know about how to go about doing all those application stuff. And some people don't even know where to even get access to scholarships. So we thought that it would be nice to have a session like this where someone who has experience will come to talk about us, and in a way, it will be a way of encouraging us to search for those opportunities, because it's not easy, especially for those in Nigeria. And if you want to perform at the global stage, it is necessary for you to know how to go about things like international scholarships. And to do that, we have a very special person. Our speaker for today is Anyanwu Solace. She is a PhD student in chemical engineering at the University of Alabama. She had a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering at Michael Okpara University and master's degree under Erasmus Mundus Scholarship in Sustainable Catalysis. So Solace is going to be taking us through this important topic, which I believe is very dear to us at this moment, especially young Nigerians and other Africans as well, because I understand that we have people from other countries like Zambia on the call as well. So right away, I'll be inviting on our speaker, Solace. Is going to be taking us through the discussion. And I'll also indulge her to let us know if she'll be okay with taking questions after her presentation, so as to ensure that we have a hitch-free and free flow discussion. So, man, you can have the floor now.
Okay,
so ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our speaker through emojis, because I believe it's going to be an enlightening session. So you can please welcome her through emojis or chat. Let's see if we are all here.
Okay. Do I have to show my face?
Well, that is on to your discretion. If showing your face may actually entice the participants or would show them how serious you're about the discussion, then it's fine. But it's up to you.
Okay. Okay, I will just show my face for a while so you can get familiar with the face. Hello, everyone. My name is Solace, like he said. So today I'll be talking about scholarship application secrets. I hope everyone can hear me. I'll be sharing a slide. The slide just showcases the points I'll be making during the discussion. So at the end of the discussion, I will be taking questions. So you can just keep your questions to the end of my presentation. So I think I'll put up my video. My video is the new one on. So I think I'll put it on, but I'm sure everyone has seen me now. So it's nice to meet everybody. Okay. I hope we can see my screen, or the screen I'm sharing. Can everybody see it? I believe everyone can see. So today we'll be talking about scholarship application secrets, and especially for graduate school, because I don't know much about undergraduate scholarships. So it's mostly graduate scholarships. We're talking about graduate scholarships. So in this presentation, I will be discussing things you need to know before you begin an application, what your interests should be, or how you channel your interests towards your scholarship applications, how you find schools, the documentations you need to have, how to make the application properly, like what makes your application stand out, and how you can ace your interviews when you get to the interview stage. So to begin, what do you need to know? Or who and what, or what demographic of people, what kind of people can apply for a graduate scholarship? So the first set of people that can apply for a graduate scholarship are people who have completed their undergraduate degrees or their graduate degrees. So you can apply for a graduate scholarship with your completed undergraduate degree. You can also apply for a graduate scholarship if you already have maybe a master's degree or a PhD degree. But the most important thing is that you have your degree results at hand, and you have something we call something I call English attestation. I'll get to that when we get to the documentation stage. So once you have your degree results, which includes your statement of results and transcripts, you can apply for a scholarship. Then people who have at least a 2-2 or its equivalent. So whether you went to a polytechnic or university, your degree has to be 2-2 and above, because there's literally no chance for, I don't know if I would say no chance, but I have not seen scholarship applications, scholarship opportunities for people with 2-2 and below 2-2, grades below 2-2. Then people with 2-2 also have scholarship opportunities, because I have seen people that got especially Erasmus scholarship and even Commonwealth, I'm sorry, not Commonwealth, Chevening scholarship and Erasmus scholarship with 2-2. So that's why I included 2-2. So anything above 2-2 is okay. Once you have a 2-2, 2-1 first class, you are good to apply for a scholarship. Then people who are ready to leave the country through academics, because most of the scholarships we are applying for, they are abroad. I don't think Nigeria has a graduate scholarship for people that want to pursue graduate programs in Nigeria. So it's mostly people who want to leave the country through academics. But if you want to leave the country through other means, maybe business or conferences or work or job, then you don't need to apply for a scholarship. But if you want to leave the country through academics, then you need to apply for a scholarship, especially if you cannot fund yourself. So if you cannot fund yourself, but you want to leave the country through academics, then you apply for a scholarship. Then finally, people who are ready to put in the work, I will tell you, if nobody has told you, that scholarship application requires a lot of work. It's not something you just close your eye and open your eye and apply, or you just sleep and wake up and someone tells you there's an opportunity, go and apply. You just say, okay, this is what I will do in 5 minutes. No, there's a lot of work you put in applying for scholarships, getting your documentation ready, understanding the instructions on the page or the scholarship website, following through with the application from the end, or from the start to the end, is a lot of work. Sometimes it can take you a week or 2 to complete an application, depending on your speed. So if you're not ready to put in that work, if you're not ready to put down something, put your SOP together, or put your documentations together, or things you need to submit together, then you're not ready to apply for a scholarship. If you're not ready to go to your school to request for your transcript, or request for your statement of results, or request for something that has to do with the scholarship, because there are some things they can ask for you which you don't have at hand. So you need to travel here, or call this or call that person, or reach out to different people to get some documents ready. So all of these involve work. So if you're not ready to put in this work, nobody can apply for you. So it's only people who are ready to put in the work that should be able to apply for scholarship. So at what period of time, or what times do you need to apply for scholarships in a year? Now it depends on the location. I'm very familiar with Europe and US. I don't really know much about Australia or Asian scholarships, but mostly Europe and US based scholarship. European scholarships, mostly the opportunities comes between September and December. So between the month of September and December, all these scholarships in Europe, like Chevening, Commonwealth, PTDF, Erasmus, they all open between the months of September and December. So this is the period you have to apply. If you want to get a scholarship next year, you have to apply between September and December for Europe. Now for US, they have 2 seasons, which is the fall semester and the spring semester. So if you are applying to get admission in US next year and you are looking at starting in the fall semester, you have to apply in the fall semester. So we are currently in the fall semester, which is between September and December. So if you make an application to the US during this period, means you'll be resuming, if you're successful, you'll be resuming by this time next year. Then if you make an application within February and May, means you'll be resuming by 1 year from that time you made the application. So there are 2 periods you can make applications to US universities, which is fall and spring. So these are the most important things you need to know. Now going into talking about our interest. How do you find your interest? Like you just finished school, you're a fresh graduate, or you've been a graduate for a while, but you're ready to take up a postgraduate study abroad. What are the things you need to consider? The first thing is your interest. What are you interested in doing? Research. Do you want to do research? Do you want to just learn? Because it's different. There are some courses that are research-based. There are some scholarships that are research-based. The funding is only for people that are coming to do research. While there are some scholarships that are for teaching. You just come and take lectures, write exam. So there are 2 different things. So are you interested in doing a research-based course, or you just want to go for a third course? Then also, what area do you want the scholarship in, or do you want to go for? Maybe you studied mechanical engineering in your undergraduate, and you want to go for postgraduate, and you want to switch from mechanical engineering to computer engineering. Why? You should have a tangible reason, because in your SOP, you have to state there that your background is in mechanical engineering, but along the line, this happened, that happened, and now you want to switch to computer engineering, because you are submitting a transcript, and in your transcript, they are seeing courses in mechanical engineering, but you're applying to computer engineering. So why do you think you are going to be a good fit amidst the number of people, thousands of people that are already coming into the program with computer engineering background? So these are the things you also have to consider while looking for scholarships or looking for pursuing graduate studies. Your course of interest, whether it's research-based or whether it's thought-based. So that's one. The second thing you need to consider is the country. Like I said, there's Europe, there are European scholarships, there are US scholarships, there are Australian scholarships, there are Asian scholarships. So what's your interest? But the 3 things or the 4 things I like to tell people to consider before choosing a country they want to go have their postgraduate studies in is the language, the currency, the job opportunities, and culture. There are so many other things you could consider, but these are very, very important, because I did not consider these things when I went for my master's program in Europe. Europe is a very wonderful place. Europe is just, it's not a country, it's a continent. It's more like, it's a place where I call a continent with unity in diversity. They are very united. There are so many similarities between countries in Europe, but yet there are so many diversity. There are so many differences. Every country in Europe, almost every country in Europe has like a separate language. When you go to Germany, they speak German. When you go to France, they speak French. When you go to Italy, they speak Italian. When you go to Spain, they speak Spanish. So every country you are going to in Europe has like their own unique language. So you have to ask yourself, am I willing to learn this language? Because there's no country in Europe that you go to that one of the requirements of getting a job there is not speaking. You must have to have like at least a B2 level of their language. You should know their language to a point where you can easily communicate with people. So one of the requirements there, so if you go there to study and after study you have plans of looking for a job there and you don't speak the language, you have reduced the opportunity by like 50%, because language is very important. Even if they speak English in that country, but their language is the most important thing to them. So you really have to speak their language for you to get the kind of job you are looking for. So if you are going there with the intention of just studying, after studying, I'll go back to my country, then fine, because most of them take their courses in English, but there are still a lot of universities that give their courses in their languages. So like when I went for my Erasmus program, I went to France first. I was being taught in English, but my homework and assignments were sent to me in French languages. So when I received this homework, the PDF files, I have to look for a way to convert them to English language before I can do the homework. And when I'm done with the homework, I convert it back to French and submit it. And using Google Translate is not the same thing as speaking the language. So there could be little discrepancies in your exam. So maybe if you're expecting a score of like 100, you end up getting 80, not because you did not get it right, but because the person that is marking your script, or the examiner, is a core French person, and the person is reading your script based on French language of his understanding, not what Google Translate is giving you. So if there are discrepancies in your answer, it could reduce the point you're supposed to get. So you really need to consider the language of the country you're going to if you're pursuing graduate studies in Europe. But if you're going to a country like UK or London, then maybe you don't have any problem because they speak English there. But I had some challenges with studying in Europe, because my Erasmus program took me through 4 countries, and each of these 4 countries spoke different languages. So when I get to a new country, I'm like forced to at least understand the language, which was like it was a little bit like a problem to me. I wasn't able to learn a new language within the space of 6 months. So I just had to cope anyhow. So this is one thing I always advise people to consider. And it's like the main reason why I did not continue my PhD studies in Europe. It's like the language was one of the reasons, or if not the main reason, why I had to pursue a PhD in the US. I had to just change my location because I could not cope with the whole language. There are some people that it's very easy for them to, learn a new language. So if learning a new language is not a problem for you, then Europe is good, because their quality of education there is very good, and very standard of living, cost of living is very good. You always adapt, but the only problem or the only challenge I had there was language. So that's why I always advise people to consider the language when moving to Europe. Then the next thing is currency. People that pursue graduate studies in countries like maybe I'm not trying to degrade any country, but let's say you want to pursue graduate studies in Asia, and when you get there, you find out that the stipend they are giving you, by the time because we are Nigerians, we are African, somehow we are still taxed from our families back home still tax us. So you have to send money back to your family. So maybe when you are earning little stipend, and by the time you convert it to Naira and send to your family, you see that you have little or nothing left for you. So you really have to also consider the value of the stipend that you'll be receiving for the duration of your postgraduate studies. So if you are going to Asia, or you are going to a place like maybe Canada, where master's stipends are not so much compared to countries like Europe and US. So you also have to consider that, because if you plan on saving or plan on sending money back home or stuff, even in America here, there are some programs, the stipend they give you is just enough to take care of your feeding. And you now have to look for an extra job to, be able to survive in the country. And working and schooling is not easy, I must tell you. It's not easy as people make it seem. You just cannot serve 2 masters at a time. If you're working and you're schooling, one has to be lagging. So if your studies is lagging, then what is the sense of coming there? Why did you take up the scholarship when you know that you're not going to do a good job academically? So you also have to consider, when I talk about currency, I'm talking about the stipends, the exchange rates, value of the money, how well the money is going to be enough for you, or how long the money is going to sustain you during the period of your studies. But for European countries, I think they give you pretty enough stipend. I think they pay stipend based on the cost of living of the country. Like when you go to Germany for master studies, the money you get in Germany, you can't compare it to the money you'll be getting if you are doing your master studies in Portugal. Because in Germany, the cost of living is higher than in Portugal. So you might go to Portugal and you get a scholarship that pays you maybe 800 euros monthly. Whereas someone in Germany will be getting maybe 1,200 euros. monthly, which is just enough for the person to survive. So this is what I meant when I mentioned currency. Now, job opportunity, the same thing with language. It depends. Job opportunity is different. Like the amount of available jobs in a country is peculiar to that country, but it's not the same in every country. So when you go to Germany, there are so many job opportunities in Germany, but you can't compare it to Portugal. When you go to Portugal, you might find it very difficult to get a job after school. So these are the things you consider when you're looking at a country. Like my Erasmus program took me from France to Italy, from Italy to Portugal, and from Portugal to Germany. So this is why I'm mentioning these countries, because these are the countries I went to. When you finish your postgraduate study, maybe in France, and you want to stay back, it might just take you a few months before you land a job, because there are a lot of jobs in France. But let's say you're also doing this, another person or your friend is also doing the same postgraduate study in Portugal. The person could stay 1 year before getting a job, coupled with the fact that the person cannot speak the language. So it's going to, cut down your chances way lower than someone that's in maybe France or Germany. So you have to look at the country where these schools are located. If you have any plans of staying back in that country to work after schooling, then you have to consider the availability of jobs in that country. Then finally, the culture. Well, you may not really know fully the culture of a country if you've never been there, but you could ask around, you could check on Google, you could, watch some videos of people who live there, videos on YouTube and videos on TikTok to see what the culture is like. If they love people, if they are open, and the kind of food they eat, their social life, and everything generally. And if you're a religious person, what kind of religion is practiced in that country? So you really need to consider all of this when you are looking for a country to do your graduate program. So, the third thing is the graduate level. Are you going for master's or PhD or accelerated master's? There's something called accelerated master's. It's more like doing a BSc and a master's together. So I won't go much into that, but there's a graduate level called accelerated master. So as an undergraduate, you just completed your undergraduate degree. What's the next thing you are going for? Do you want to go for master's, or do you want to go directly into PhD? Now in Europe, you cannot from undergraduate level go directly into PhD. It only happens in US. So if you want to directly move from an undergraduate level to PhD, then you don't have any business looking for scholarship opportunities in Europe. You have to just channel all your applications to US schools. But if you want to go through masters, then go for PhD. Then you can also look for opportunities in both US schools, Canada, or European schools. Now, on the other hand, PhD funding in US is like there's always funding for PhD in US. Like there is more funding for PhD in US than masters. Not a lot of schools in US fund PhD, but not all schools in US fund masters. Many a times people apply for master's degree and they are shocked when they find out that in their offer letter they don't see any funding. Yes, that's because US do not channel so much resources into master's degree as they channel into PhD. Do you know why? The reason is because when you apply for PhD in the US, it's 5 years or more, 5 years and above. Now, within these 5 years, maybe in your first 2 years, you'll be taking courses with master's students. And at the end of these first 2 years, or at the end of the 2 years, you can apply to get a master's degree while still doing your PhD. Then after the first 2 years, you start your PhD research properly. Then at the end, maybe after 3 years or 4 years, you get your PhD. So it's more like on your way to PhD, you get masters. So why would they still fund masters separately for people when they know that their students can easily apply for a PhD and get a master's and PhD at once? But it's not the same in Europe. In Europe, it's different. Masters is independent of PhD. When you're done with masters, you go over to PhD. The funding are different. Everything is different. So in European universities fund both masters and PhD. So it just depends on what you want. If you want to just do masters and call it a quit or call it a day, fine. You can just focus on European schools. I'm not saying that there are no fundings for master or there's no funding for master's degree in US. No, there are fundings. At least I know one person in my school currently that is doing master's degree and he has funding. But it's not as common as PhD. There's more funding for PhD than master. You could get a master's offer in a US university and you see that in your letter there's no funding. So not because they don't want to fund it, but more of their funding, they channel it to the PhD students. So that's for that. And the final one, okay, I've mixed up graduate level with funding, but I'll still talk about funding. The final one is funding. When you're applying to a university or you're applying through a professor or whatever, you want to work in his lab, you want to be his PhD student, you have to consider what kind of funding is available. Now, funding can come in different forms. There's full funding, there's partial funding, there's GRA, there's GTA, there's GA. So GTA is graduate teaching assistantship. GRA is graduate research assistantship. While GA is graduate assistantship. So full funding means they're covering your cost of living. They're giving you stipend. They're covering your tuition. They're covering everything. Even you're traveling from, you moving from your country to their country, they're covering it. People that are expert at doing this is universities in Europe. They cover everything. They even pay for, when they don't give you, they may not give you the money before you arrive, but when you arrive, they give you the money and even cover the cost of your arrival. So they give you full funding. But in that full funding, after paying your fees, paying your tuition, paying everything, and they give you your stipend, from that stipend, you're expected to take care of yourself, pay your rent, buy your clothes, buy your food and everything. They're not coming to give you extra money to pay your rent or extra money to buy a laptop or extra money. No. When they take care of your tuition and then give you a spare money, which is called your stipend, that you can use to take care of yourself. Then for partial funding mostly comes in just school fees. Maybe they just pay your school fees. Then you have to take care of yourself. And it's with this partial funding that people now decide to work and study. Since you cannot get full funding, maybe they pay your full school fees, but now you have to live, you have to pay your rent, you have to eat. So the money for all of that will come from you. It's at this point that people decide to find jobs, or maybe their parents sponsor the rest of it. So, but partial funding is very common. It's very common. There are some departments, you see some departments that don't have funding for masters, but maybe they can give you some kind of partial funding. And this partial funding varies. It could be that they will fund your first year and second year, and the rest of the years you fund it yourself, or they fund only your first year, or they just give you a fellowship for the first year, or something like that. So it's just not as interesting as full funding. So you have to inquire to know what kind of funding is available. Then there's GTA. GTA means you are a graduate student undergoing graduate studies, but you are also given teaching assistantship under the professor you are working with. For instance, I as a PhD, I have a PI, an advisor that I'm working with. So my PI has classes. He's a professor, he teaches. He goes to teach undergraduate and graduate students. So when it comes to things like marking assignments, taking up lab classes, maybe a year one class, they have chemistry practical. My professor will not leave his office and come to the lab and teaching them chemistry practical. Now that's my responsibility. I have to take the students to the lab and teach them what they need to do in the lab. My professor may not have time to mark notes and mark assignments, give homework, supervise exams, mark exams, and all of that grading. Now, these are teaching assistantship jobs. So because you are under teaching assistantship funding, your funding falls under teaching assistantship. These are the things you are going to be doing for the professor. So you're assisting him in teaching. But for graduate research assistantship means you're assisting your professor with research. You're always in the lab. Even though you are taking classes or a master's student or a postgraduate student, you have to still do your normal academic activity, but you still have to be in the lab assisting your professor. Then while graduate assistantship with no teaching or research means you could be doing some kind of administrative roles. You could be working with your supervisors or with the department's receptionist. You could be working with the department graduate coordinator, helping them organize seminars, workshops, conferences, keeping up, doing some data analytics work, you just be doing some kind of work outside academic. This one now has nothing to do with academics. You be doing some either administrative work or something like that. So you're a graduate assistant, but there's no teaching or research attached to it. So this could be where your funding is coming from. So that salary they are supposed to be paying you, I'm sorry, the school fees they are helping you out with, the stipend they are giving you is coming from the work you are, or the role you are playing in the department, or the job you are handling in the department. So these are the ways, different ways funding could come from a particular university or department. So going over to the next one. We have excuse me, finding schools or potential supervisors. What most people do is cold email. What a lot of people do is cold email. So I'll talk a bit about cold emailing. Cold emailing is just basically sending mails to professors or graduate advisors, inquiring for potential opportunities. Like I just went online, or I'm on LinkedIn, or someone just told me about a university. Take for instance, Queen's College, and I saw that they need PhD students. Now, what do? I don't know how to go about the application. I don't know what kind of qualification they need the students to have. They need master's students. I just don't know anything. All I know is that this university need master's students. What do I do first? I send a mail, look for a professor, or it could be that someone posted it on Twitter, on LinkedIn, or someone made an advertisement on LinkedIn that we are in search of graduate students. Please apply to this or apply to that. Then you send whoever made that email. Maybe he's a professor of that department, or he's the owner of the lab in search of graduate students. So sending him an email inquiring about a potential position is what a cold email is. I think this word is just like a slang. It's not like it's an official word, but I think graduate students who have done it in the past, they came up with the word cold email. It's more like making an inquiry. Please, sir, I saw this advert. I'm interested in this position. These are my qualifications. These are my interests. How do I go about it? Do you have space in your lab? I want to join your lab. Sir, I saw your profile on your university's website. I love the research you are doing. It resonates with me. It's linked to my research. Do you need graduate students? I want to know how to go about the applications. What do I need to have? All of that. So asking these questions in a mail to a professor, that's what a cold email is. So this is one way you could find out if there are potential opportunities for graduate studies, like if a university or a department needs graduate students or not. Maybe you are not sure, or it may not even come from an advert. You could just be on social media and see a professor post that he moved to California, or he got a job recently in California, and people are congratulating him, and you feel like, okay, this professor is new to this university, means he does not have students. Then why don't I send him an email to see if he's interested in taking students? Then you email the professor. So this is basically cold email. So most people get to find out about opportunities in different labs or different schools or different universities through cold emails. I, for one, I tried doing cold emails during my master's when I was looking for PhD opportunities. But it didn't work for me because I don't know why, but I could think of a lot of reasons that it didn't work. But whenever I send an email to a professor, they read the emails, and some of them don't even read it because I have a tracker. Some of them read, some of them don't, most of them don't read it. So I never get a response. You could email 500 professors and nobody's responding to you, and you feel like you are a bad candidate, or you're not a good student, or you're not good enough for the position. But I think sometimes some of these emails we send to professors, we are not the only ones sending them this email. They receive emails on a daily. I, as a student in University of Alabama, every day, ordinarily, every day with my university email, I receive not less than 10 emails as a student. These are emails from different organizations, different departments, different events going on in the school. They keep, sometimes I receive 15, sometimes I can get 20 in a day. So this is just for me being a student. Imagine a professor in a university with his official email, apart from the emails he gets from his university or emails related to his work or his research. There are other students emailing him, and it's not just you. There could be 50 students sending the same cold email to a particular professor. The professor, I feel like this is one of the reasons why they don't read email. They might get tired, or they may not even remember it. They just go to the ones that are important, the ones they recognize, the people they know, and read their emails and leave your own unread. So you come back thinking that, oh, this professor did not get back to me. I'm not a good student. You feel so down and everything. I feel like they just get a lot of emails, and maybe they pick one or two, respond to them, and the rest, it's too much for them. They can't respond. So they leave it that way. So that's why I always tell people, do not just rely on sending emails to professor alone. Sometimes go to the university's website, which brings me to the second way of finding schools or potential supervisor. Going to the university website is one way that worked for me. It works for me like magic. And it was like the first time I tried it. After sending mails to so many professors, inquiring about positions for research and for PhD, and they didn't respond to me. One professor got back to me, and he made a statement. He told me, why don't I try looking out for these opportunities on the university's website? That was the first time I now finally decided to go to this university, to their website, and start looking for opportunities on the website. So what I did was, I'm on different various WhatsApp groups. So whenever information comes to this WhatsApp group and they are like, this university is offering free waiver, or this university is looking for PhD students, or this professor is looking for PhD, the first thing I do is to get the name of that university and go to the website and look at the website. On their website, they have every information you need. So when you look at the website, you go to the department you are looking for, go to the graduate studies, look for the course you are interested in. Now go there and look for applying for PhD or masters, how to apply, requirements for application. You go there and read through the requirements. Do you fit this requirement? Then if there's something you don't understand, there's always an email they leave at the bottom of their page. For more inquiries, please contact, or for this, please contact. Then you can now send a code email or just a normal email to that particular email on their page. Now, that email they put on their page is solely for this kind of purpose, for inquiry, and they'll definitely respond to you. But you might send email to the professor and the professor will not respond to you. But when you go to the university's website and read the instruction and you have a problem or you have a question and you email that particular mail they put on their page, you will always get a response, because that's what that mail is meant for. So when sending email to professors could take so much time, professor might forget, professor might respond to you, professor might not. So instead of wasting your time waiting, I'm not saying you should not send cold emails. Cold emails still work. They are very efficient, but some professors will still respond to you. But instead of waiting for so long for a professor to respond, why don't you go to the website and see what you can do to get your application started? So this is one area you could get good first-hand information about the particular opportunity in the university. Then finally, we have social media. Social media helped me a lot, especially LinkedIn and WhatsApp. Like I said, I belong to a lot of WhatsApp graduate groups. I have like up to maybe 6 or 7, I don't know. So, and every group, there's always people there who are currently or have finished their postgraduate studies. So these are the people that have information. The ones that are currently on their postgraduate studies or the ones that are finished, they have first-hand information. So they keep posting information on WhatsApp group. And when I log in, I just check. In fact, even if I don't respond to any other person's message there, because you're interested in scholarship, you know what you want. You don't just waste your time on social media doing other irrelevant things. You can just channel your opportunity to looking for information concerning graduates. Even if you don't have, you don't belong to any graduate group, you can look for just one student that you know, or any friend that you know that is already in the graduate journey or in their graduate journey, and tell them to add you to maybe a WhatsApp group where you can be getting information. One WhatsApp group is all you need. From that one WhatsApp group, you will find yourself in like 2 or 3 other WhatsApp groups, because there will be 1 or 2 or 3 other persons that will have subgroups. One day they will post a link. This is a link for people that are applying to this. This is a link for people that are applying to this, that. Before you know something, you have like 6, 7 WhatsApp groups that you belong to, and you get first-hand information from this group. So WhatsApp group helped me a lot. Whenever there are opportunities they post on the group, from the links, I locate the school, then go to the website and get the information I want to get. Another one is LinkedIn. A lot of professors, when they want to recruit graduate students, they always put it out on their LinkedIn page. So you have to be really active on LinkedIn. And you have to customize your LinkedIn feed in a way that you get this kind of information. Some people open LinkedIn, and the only thing that comes to your LinkedIn is people that are reposting TikTok videos, or people that are reposting some kind of videos that's not even related to your interests. You want to pursue a course in medicine, and the only thing on your LinkedIn field are people doing magic, something, or comedians or something like that. That's what is on your LinkedIn feed. You can never get information concerning medicine on your LinkedIn feed. So you have to, by yourself, customize your LinkedIn feed in a way that you can be getting only and I know that this social media now, social networking apps, they run their codes in a way that by the time you watch 2 or 3 videos, or you like 2 or 3 posts that talks about graduate school or scholarships, subsequent posts that will be coming to your feed will be something related to what you've liked, retweeted, or commented on before. So it's always like on TikTok, if you watch 1 or 2 videos on people dancing, 1 or 2 dancing videos, for the rest of the day, you're going to be seeing dancing videos, dancing videos, dancing videos. The same thing with Twitter, the same thing with Facebook, the same thing with LinkedIn. So if you have to personally customize your page intentionally so that you can be getting feed or you can be getting information. If you really want information on graduate studies, you like me now, once I open my LinkedIn, the first post I always say is either somebody has retweeted a professor's post to my page, and I'll say we are looking for this, we are looking for this, because I have intentionally followed people that post things like this. Once I see a professor or a graduate student or anybody that posts information on scholarship, and I like that post and I follow the person, then before it's happening, 2 more people's posts will get to my page. By the time I like the post and follow that person, 5 more people's posts will get to my page. Before it's happening, everything on my page is about graduate information, graduate school, scholarship, and all of that. So this is what I mean by customizing your social media page to bring information relating to what you want to see. So this is another way social media could help you get close to potential supervisors and find schools. So you can cold email professors, you can visit university websites, you can use your social media to always get this kind of information. So going on to the into the documentation, there are so many documents that different schools could require of you. These documents are not one size fits all. Every school has their own unique requirements, but sometimes there's always like a generic requirement that every school must always ask you for, which are the 4 things I just highlighted: your SOP or your essay, your transcript, your CV, and your test. Now, SOP, essay, what is the difference? Essay is mainly when you are applying for a scholarship and you open the application page, more often than not, you are asked to upload either your SOP or you fill a text box where you have to answer some questions. Like if you are applying for Commonwealth scholarship, before you get to the part where you have to upload your SOP, there are some questions you have to answer. Now, answering those questions is more like writing an essay. They will ask you questions like, why do you think you're the best candidate for this position? You're not going to write, I have a first class, that's why I'm the best candidate. You have to write, they will tell you not less than 300 words or not less than 400 words. When you see a question telling you to fill up a text box with not less than 300, it's more or less an essay. So that's why I call it essay. So you are either required to write an essay in the scholarship application page, or you are required to upload your SOP, or sometimes you are required to do both of them. Many programs in Erasmus scholarship might only require your SOP. Like my program, I was only required to upload a lot of, like I think 2 SOPs or so. So 1 SOP, 1 is personal statement. So you have to upload it. But if you're applying to something like Chevening or Commonwealth or even McGill, a MasterCard rather, you have to write a lot of essays. There's so many different questions, different sections where you have to fill in some words and convince them why they should take you. So what makes your essay good? Your essay has to be well articulated. It has to sound well, like it has to make sense. You don't have to go to AI. A lot of people now are using AI to generate their essay. AI can only help you and give you a direction on how to write your essay. But AI cannot write a convincing essay for you because AI is not you. It's whatever you tell AI to do that will give you. You tell say, help me write an SOP for this. AI will write an SOP based on maybe the number of SOP it has written for other people in the past. But AI is not writing an SOP that relates to your experience. You have to learn. This SOP is one thing that a lot of people applying for graduate school do not get right. Writing SOP. They always, either they are looking for AI or they're looking for who to write it for them and they pay. If at the point of application, you cannot come up with an SOP yourself, what makes you feel like you are good enough to go for graduate school? That SOP you are writing to them is one thing that they look at and say, okay, this person writes well. This person has an experience in writing and can communicate effectively in their writing. Then this person deserves to be a graduate student. That SOP is like your exam because some applications, they don't even ask you for any other thing. They don't just submit your documents, then submit your SOP. The SOP is like your exam. You have written the exam, you have submitted. The person reading your SOP now has to understand what kind of person you are from that SOP. So you have to articulate it very well. Like it has to be such that when someone is reading, it looks interesting. It sounds interesting. The person understands what you're doing. You don't jump from one paragraph to another paragraph that does not even relate with each other. So it should your SOP should also reflect the intentions, your intention. Why do you want to? Why are you applying for this course? You have a background in medicine. Why are you moving over to computer science? It has to reflect on your SOP because you will not state it in your CV. You will not state it in your transcript. It's now in your SOP that you have to explain the reason why you are switching. It's in your SOP that you have to explain the reason why you want to work with this professor. You have a background in bioprocessing. Now you want to move over to electrochemistry. Why? Why do you want to switch? No, both of them are chemical engineering, but why do you want to switch from bioprocessing to electrochemistry? Why do you have, why are you even interested in applying our school? Why our school out of other schools? So these are the things that are contained in the SOP. SOP is not just something you just wake up one morning, say, I studied in University of Lagos, I graduated with the first class and I'm applying because I feel I'm intelligent enough to do graduate study. Please take me. And you now submit. No, to really go into detail why you want to do this. Are you even a research person? Have you done any research before? What kind of research have you conducted? Who did you work with? What was the result of your research? And how does your previous research relate with this current research you are coming to do? Then if you are doing a thought program, why do you want to even pursue a master's degree in the first place? What's the problem in your country that you feel like this master's degree will help you solve? Do you plan on going back to your country when you are done? So these are the things you have to impute or include in your SOP and your essays. Most essays, most SOPs, these are the kind of things they want to see. If you check essays in Commonwealth, Chevening, all these things I just mentioned, some of them come in form of questions. Why do you think you're the best candidate for this role? Tell us about your previous research experience. How did it go? Tell us one time you did something and failed. How did you come back from it? These are the kind of things, questions you see in scholarship pages. They want to really know more about you. So the way you gather your answers, the way you write down, you put down your answers in writing is like your winning point for SOP. You see somebody that has a 2-2 or a 2-1 applying and getting a scholarship, why someone with a first class does not get? You'll be asking yourself, why didn't I get up when I have a first? It's because of your SOP. SOP, they don't understand. They don't understand why you're writing your SOP. You maybe your SOP, you will tell them that you've volunteered here, you've done this, you taught children how to do this, you did the girl child, you did the boy child. But in your CV, none of those things were your experiences. That's how they know that you lied. Because in your CV, you told them all your work experience. You showed them all your research skills. You showed them everything you've done in your life, where and where. But in your SOP, you're not telling them that you did volunteering. Why is it that volunteering work you mentioned in your SOP was not in your CV? When they checked in your CV, there was no time you mentioned a volunteering work you did from this month to that month or from this year to that year. When your SOP, you came to lie that you did volunteering work for 2 years. Why is it not on your CV? On your SOP, you tell them you worked with artificial intelligence, you did this, did that. But in your CV, in your skills and competencies on your CV, there's no place where it was stated that one of your skills is using AI. Or you can see, I don't know, I don't know if I'm making sense, but your SOP, the experiences, the skills, the volunteering work and everything you're mentioning in your statement or in your essay should also align with what you have told them on your CV. Because these people check these things. They check it. You told them that you did this, you graduated well, you worked with this professor, you did this research. But in your CV, you did not even show one single research that you worked on. Or you're telling them now in your SOP that you worked. So this is why I don't buy the idea of using AI to write your CV, because AI will not highlight all these experiences, to not tell you all these things to do, to not put it in a way that it sounds interesting for you. Read that. AI will always give you a generic format, the same format to give another person. So when the format becomes generic, once the person opens the first person's application and sees that this is the same thing I read from this other person's application, you open that person's, oh, this is something I read. It's not looking like everybody's copying from the same AI source. That AI that you think that is helping you is helping another person. It's helping like 500 more people. So it's giving the same answer to them. So what will not make your own application stand out? So these are the things that we should consider when generating our SOPs and essays, because I feel like SOP and the essays are the most important thing apart from your CGPA. These things are like the most important part of your application. Then we have our transcript or statement of results. You always should have at least a student copy of your transcript once you've graduated from school. At least before you go for service or during your service, before you start rounding up your service, you should always reach out to your university to know if your transcript is out. even if the official copy is not out, you should be able to get the student copy. I use my student till today. It's still my student copy that I used to apply for scholarships. My official copy has only been sent to my university directly. I don't even have access to my official copy. So it's the student copy that we used to apply. Then when you get the offer, they'll now ask you to tell your university to mail them your original copy, because you will not be the one to mail it to them for for transparency purposes, so that you don't alter some of this thing. So whatever copy you're using to apply, we should also reflect to what should also align with what your university will send to them. That's why they are okay with you submitting your student copy. But now they need your university to mail them the original transcript so they can compare it with. If they see discrepancies, then your admission is at stake or your offer is at stake. So be sure to get your student copy from your university or from the department. You can always use your student copy to apply. So you need both your transcript and your statement of results. The statement of results will stand in for a certificate, because some cases they'll ask for a certificate. If you don't have your certificate, then you can always upload your statement of. Today I don't have my certificate, so I've always used my statement of result, which works for me. So with my student copy, transcript, and my I'm speaking as a Nigerian. I don't know how it's done in other countries, whether you have student copy and official copy. But in Nigeria, I believe you have student and official copy. So you can always get your student's copy. Then why the school keeps the official copy? I don't know if there are some universities in Nigeria that give students the official copy, because my university did not give me my official copy. They only sent it directly to the university that requests for it. So now, under this transcripts and statement, I will mention West evaluation. Now, what is West evaluation? The West evaluation is done so that it's done in a way that they try to evaluate your grades to match with the country's grading system. You're a Nigerian, our grading system is different. Now they try to evaluate that first class that you have or that 2-1 you have. What is its equivalent if you check the grading system of Europe or the grading system of US? So when they evaluate it and check it, then they give you a copy. That becomes your West evaluation result. So you will not need to, if you're applying to a US university and they require for West evaluation, you now submit that West evaluation copy. Is that West evaluation now that they will use to evaluate you and assess if you are if you're getting the scholarship or not? They will no longer consider what your transcript is saying, because you've already converted your transcript to their own grading system, which is what is in the West evaluation. Some schools it's compulsory, in some other schools it's not. So it depends on the requirement of the university. Like me, I have never been asked to give them or upload the West evaluation. They always accept my transcript. So that's good enough for me. Why some schools they apply to, or some universities they apply to, even in the UK, they can request for West evaluation. So you have to present your West evaluation. Then we have CV. Now in your CV, I see a lot of CV, which is the same mistake I did too. When I crafted my first CV, I'll put my name, my address, my phone number, my everything. I'll write a little bit about myself at the beginning. Then I'll start listing my academic qualifications and all of that. Before it was happening, my CV I've gotten to like 6 pages. Nobody has strength to read 6 pages of CV, or 6 pages, or a 6-page CV. Just list your relevant, if you're applying to computer science, list those relevant experiences, skills, academic qualifications that are related to that course you're applying to, so that your CV is not just so bulky, so so your CV does not become irrelevant. Because if maybe you have a lot of work experience, you've worked in so many places, you've worked as a receptionist in UBA Bank, you've worked as a cleaner in Crunchies, you've worked as, like, you've done so many jobs, and you are imputed. What has you being a cleaner in UBA Bank got to do with your application to be maybe your application for chemical engineering or computer science? At that point, that work experience is not really relevant to your application. I don't know if you get me. You really need to impute. You have volunteering experience, put it there. You have IT experience, put it there. You've done something in data science, you've done something in data analysis, you've done something with Excel. and all of that, put it there because you're applying to computer science. These experiences are relevant. Even if that data collection you did was for a supermarket, put it there. Because at that point, that is relevant to the study you're applying for or to the course you're applying for. So you only select the most relevant experiences that you need. And I don't think nowadays people look at the small personal summary we add to our CV. Like some people, you open the CV at the top of it, you see their summary about themselves and this, I come from this village, I'm here, I'm fair in complexion and all of it. All of that is not needed. Your name, your email address, and your phone number. Phone number is not needed because nobody is calling you, but just put it there. But the most important thing is your full name, your email address, and maybe your location. These three things are the most important thing that should be in your CV. After that, you then continue with your, if you apply, if you are preparing an academic CV that you want to use to apply for universities, you don't need, the first section in that CV is not supposed to be your work experience or your skills or your referee. Since you are applying for academic purpose, that CV is strictly an academic CV. So the very first thing that should be on your CV, the very first section should be your academic history, your undergraduate, your postgraduate, your degree, first class, second class, whatever. That should be the very first thing that the person that will open your CV should see. But if you're applying as per, if that CV is a work CV, you are trying to use a CV to get a job. That's when the first thing on CV could be maybe your previous work experience or any other thing. But for an academic CV, the first thing that should be the first section of that CV should always be your academic history. So I don't know, okay, this person has done graduate and master's degree. So very good. We need somebody like this. Then the next thing that should follow could be maybe your research. If you've published anything, if you have any publication, put it there. If you've had any relevant work experience or volunteering experience relevant to that course or school you're applying to, then put it there. But the first thing they should see is at least your academic history, research experience before they can start seeing your languages, so your referee, or all of those other information can come later, maybe the third or the fourth section of the CV. Then I always recommend a 3-page CV for academic purpose. 3-page CV, okay. People that have 5, 6, 7, 8, what are you putting? What are you writing in the CV? A 3-page CV is very okay. If you want to put too much, some people even put 2-page. But I will still recommend 3-page in case you have a lot of publication. So all of them can enter, or the CV can accommodate all your publication. So that's for that. So for people that have publications, people that have publications, you can always include your publications on your CV. Conferences you've attended, you can also always include them so that at least your examiner, whoever is going to look through your CV, will see that, okay, this person is actually studious, the person attends conferences, webinars, the person has some kind of publications, means you have research experiences. So these are the things that should be on your CV. You don't need to cluster your CV with things that are irrelevant to that particular course or particular school you're applying to. So finally, we have standardized tests. Nowadays, a lot of schools are waiving English tests for Nigerians or other African-speaking countries. So if you're from like Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, I don't really know all the English-speaking countries in Africa. A lot of schools are waiving. So now you don't need IELTS or TOEFL or GRE for, I don't know about European schools if they are waiving, but a lot of US schools are waiving now. So that's the more reason why you should always look on the website of the university. The university website will always tell you if your country has been waived. So that's what I meant by waivers. Waivers mostly is either they are waiving application fee for you or they are waiving standardized tests. So someone now from Cameroon might be required to submit IELTS because it's a French-speaking country. Why someone from Nigeria, it will be waived for you because Nigeria is known to be an English-speaking country. So that's for that. Then why some other schools will make it compulsory, whether you are English speaking or whether you are French speaking, all they know is that they want to see that you have an English language certificate. Now, when I was applying for my PhD, these schools that made standardized English tests compulsory, I don't have an IELTS. I didn't write any English test. So for all of them, I didn't write anyone. So what I did was to collect an English certificate from my university. In that certificate, it was more like an attestation. They stated that I was taught from year 1 to final year in English. All my exams, all my presentations and everything, and my certificate and transcript, everything was in English language. So it was a written statement that was signed by the university's registrar. So whenever I'm asked to submit an English or standardized test, that's what I submit. And it works for me, honestly. I've never submitted that English attestation and they maybe mail me and tell me my application is incomplete, or after submitting the application, they tell me my application is incomplete. It's always accepted. So that's why I advise people to get that attestation letter in hard copy, like the way they issue out your statement of results to you. That's the same way I was issued the attestation letter showing that all my courses, all my exams and everything were done in English language. Now, in situations where your CGPA is low, maybe like 2.1, but your 2.1 is like 3 points, not 4 points, I would always advise you to do that WES evaluation, because sometimes some universities in US, I don't know if it's US or Europe, their CGPA is like over 4. In Nigeria, own is over 5. University, not poly now, is over 5. So someone that has like maybe 3.9 or 3.8 out of 5.0 could do a WES evaluation, and you'll be having 3.4 or 3.5 out of 4. I'm not saying that's exactly, I'm just giving an instance. You'll be having 3.4 out of 4 in US grading system, which is a better CGPA. That 3.4 out of 4 with your WES evaluation is a better CGPA than when you submit 3.39, no, 3.8. When you submit 3.8 out of 5. I don't know, I hope I'm not confusing you people. If you have 3.8 out of 5 Nigerian system and you go for WES evaluation and your WES evaluation comes back as 3.5 out of 4 for a US system, you see that you have a better result in your WES evaluation than you have in your transcript. So that's why I always advise, even if you have a first class, you can leave your WES evaluation, because first class in every country is first class everywhere. So, but if you have like a 2.1, especially in the 3-point area, I would always advise you go for WES evaluation, because more often it comes back higher when it's when you evaluate your results in the US system. For the 2 people, I've seen 2 people. I'm just using the 2 people that I've seen their WES evaluation. So I'm just using it as an instant. I don't know for other people. Maybe it does not work for 2-2 or what, I don't know. But if your CGPA is low, I will always advise that you do a WES evaluation. Maybe it will come back higher. So that's, I included that under standardized tests because somehow WES is also standardized. And I think that's all for the standardized tests. So we have the waiver. Some standardized tests are waived, some are compulsory. Then for cases where your CGPA is low, I would advise you go for WES evaluation. So then the last one is, if you can get that English attestation from your university, get it. It worked for me, so it could also work for you. And then I think this is my last slide. So coming to the application properly. So before you apply for scholarship, one thing you should do is to always read the application instructions carefully and ask questions. Someone will send you a link, apply for this. You just open the link and start applying. You did not go to read the instruction. You did not check the minimum requirements. You did not check the eligibility. Nothing. You just start applying. Maybe when you have submitted your application, you will not see that those people over the age of 30 are not allowed to apply, but you've already submitted. Means your application is now useless. Or after submitting, you will not see that the application is only for indigenous from Asia. Africans are not allowed to apply, or the application is only for English-speaking individuals. Non-English-speaking individuals are not allowed to apply. Or the application is strictly for people with background in chemistry and chemical engineering. For you with a background in biology or microbiology, you went to go and apply. So your application is basically useless because you did not read the instruction. So before applying, the first thing you should do is to always read the instruction on the website or on the advert. Whatever advert they put out, they need this candidate. There's always a minimum requirement. There's always an instruction before application. So you always have to read. If you don't understand, you reach out to whoever posted it or whoever sent you the link. Just ask people, what do they mean here? What is this for? What are these things? Just ask questions to get clarity before you go. Don't just click on a link and start applying. Take your time to read the instructions very, very well. Now, how can you make your application stand out? Every application, every opportunity, just bear it in mind that there are hundreds and thousands of people making the same application you are making. Now, how do you make your application stand out? First things first, which undeniably you cannot deny. It's people with first class always stand a better chance. But that is not saying that it's only people with first class that can get scholarship. No. People with first class will always stand a better chance because the first thing they consider once they open your application, the first thing they check is your academic qualification. Now you have first class. Good. Oh, this person has first class. Let's start with this person. Now they've opened your file as a first class student and they've gone to your SOP and they are reading rubbish. They will just toss your application on one side and go to the next available first class person. Now, if they've gone through all the first class students available, I'm just giving this for instance, as an instance rather, and they don't see someone that had a sound or well-written SOP, what do? They go to the next people, which is like the 2-1 people. When they open it, someone with 2-1, and they see that the person has a wonderful SOP, there's no how they will, because you have 2-1 and this person has first class, they'll not leave you and start going for someone with first class because the person has first class. No. You have shown them that you have first class. Then what else do you have to offer apart from your first class? You can't write well. Your CV is scattered. You don't even have any research experience. You don't have any skill. The only thing you have to boast of is that you have first class. You've not worked anywhere. You've not done any volunteering. You've not spoken in conferences. You've not attended conferences. You've not done nothing. Your CV is just that you have first class. No. You have to, your academic qualification, yes, will make you get in fact, the academic qualification will draw their attention to your application. But there are so many other things that will make them pick you as a candidate. So yes, academic qualification makes you stand out, but that does not get you the scholarship. Your SOP, first of all, I always make put emphasis or lay emphasis on SOP. Your essays, your SOP should be very well written. That is what impresses, because every other thing you're submitting to them is like a made-up document. Your transcript was made up by your school, like your school constructed your transcript. Your CV, you use someone's format to construct it. Your statement of result, your school gave it out to you. But now your SOP, they believe that you sat down and wrote that SOP. It's like your exam. So that was the exam you took during the application. How good is that SOP? Now, after that, they try to check if all the documents you submitted are complete. That's where you come to proper documentation. They requested for CV, did you submit CV? They requested for WES evaluation, did you submit it? They requested for international passport, did you submit it? They request all these documents that were listed, that were compulsory during the application, did you submit all? So if you did, then your application is good. Then they check your research experience. If you're applying for a research-based course, you need to have, even if it is one, yes, you might not have conducted good research as an undergraduate, but that your project work that you worked on, you submitted, you defended it, you not threw it away. Now you want to apply for graduate school and you don't have one single research experience. You start looking for your project work. Some undergrads reach out to me. They want to apply, and I ask them, where is your project work? Then they cannot remember where they dropped it. They put it in this file and that file. They cannot. When you finish, that's your project work. Keep it. Convert it to PDF. Upload it to your Google Drive and copy the link. Put that link in your CV. It becomes your publication. You can put it there under review or yet to be published or just concluded research or something like that. Then that person that is going through your CV can click on that link that will take them to your project work. When they see your project topic, see the results you have, see your conclusion, they can say, okay, this person did a good research, because that's your own research. That's your work. So it serves as your research experience. You don't have to throw away your project work. If you don't have any published article online, you don't have any professor you've worked with, that project work can help you. It serves as a research experience. But a lot of people just discard their project work, and when it's time for application, you start looking for who you're going to collaborate with. What if you don't find who to collaborate with? Then on the other hand, you can also look out for people to collaborate with. If you have the opportunity, or you see people, you have a friend, or you even have a graduate student as a friend doing his or her research, PhD, master, you can reach out to the person, please, if you have a research you're doing, I can help. You can help. There are so many things you can do, even if you're not in the lab. You can help to proofread. You can help to interpret data. You are not in the lab. You can help to write abstracts. You can help to write conclusion. You can just do one or two things. You can play a role in that collaboration. Why some other people they just pay. They contribute financially to the research. And your name is included as one of the publishers of the research. Sorry, one of the authors of the research. So either you are the first, second, third, or fifth, or even last author, but your name is there. You now have a publication in your name. You put it on your CV. Don't just relax and hope that I did not, my supervisor, my project supervisor did not publish my work. What will I do? But you can publish your work. See, if you know your work is good enough, you submit it for review. They review it and see if they can publish it. If you don't need to wait for your undergraduate project supervisor to publish your work, but you can do it yourself. So these are things that are also needed. I'm saying this especially for people that want to pursue PhD studies, because you really need a research experience, even if it is one research you worked on, you really need it. Then finally, you need to have relevant. Why I put the word relevant? Because it's not all work experiences that are relevant to your application. It's not all skills that are relevant to you. You have good skills in fine arts, but you want to pursue a course in nursing. At that point, fine art is not relevant to your course, except nowadays fine art, maybe I don't know, but it has to be skills that are relevant to your course. Like me, when I was applying to chemical engineering, I had to learn how to do molecular docking, because as someone in bioprocessing, you need to have a knowledge of at least how to dock enzymes or something, or proteins. I had to go and learn. I learned it during my master's because of I had an intention of pursuing PhD in that area. I had to go and learn molecular docking. I have skills in HTML, CSS, React, and all of that. I code, I do product design and all of that. But when I was applying when I'm applying for graduate studies in chemical engineering, HTML, CSS is not important. It's not so important for me because I was not doing simulation. If the area of chemical engineering I was pursuing it was in simulation, then that skill is very important for me, because when I'm simulating, I need to write codes. So this still applies to current day. If you're applying for a particular course, know the skills that research area you want to go into, that course you want, what are the courses you are likely to take? What are the skills that are required for this course? You can just learn it randomly. You could even watch a video on YouTube, then try to replicate it on your phone over and over again on your laptop. Before you have the skill, you put it in your laptop that you have this skill, you can do this, you can do that. That's all it takes. You don't really need to if you have the opportunity to get the certification, you can get it. But if you cannot get certified, give yourself time and learn that skill over and over again. It becomes your own skill. Then you include it in your CV. So that in case they ask you tomorrow, you included this skill in your CV. Tell me about it. How do you know? How can you run this? Because if you get to the interview stage, you can never tell where the question will come from. You might go and lie that you have skills in programming. That's why you want to pursue a course in data analytics or whatever. And during your interview, they'll tell you, how do you simulate this and this, or how do you code this and this, and you don't know what to say. But in your CV, you included that you stated that you know how to do this. And please, let's not lie about our research experience or about our skills. Because me now, before my PhD, I had 4 publications, and I put it in my CV when I was submitting it. During my interview, the very first publication that I made when I was still as an undergraduate, this is like 3, 4 years or 5 years ago that I made that publication. That was where my question came from. Like, I didn't know that the professor had to go to my profile on Science Direct, picked that publication, went through it, came to the interview and said, he did not ask me any other question. He started asking me question on that particular publication that I made, I don't know if it's 4 years ago. So if I did not work on that publication myself, I would have forgotten everything in that publication. But I was able to answer it because I actually worked on that publication myself. So let's not lie on our CV. If you want to increase the number of skills you have, try and actually get those skills. Even if at the point of application you don't know those skills, when you submitted the application, go back and try to learn those things, because you can never tell where your questions or interview questions will come. You can forge documents, forge skills, forge relevant experience, and it will get you to the interview. But it's during the interview when they start talking with you one-on-one that they will see if you are really who you say you are. or not. So this brings me to how you can ace your interview. So number one is confidence. You have to really have confidence when you're discussing with your examiner or interviewer. You don't have to be shaking your voice. You have to maintain eye contact. Just have to, give gestures and just be generally confident for them to know that yes, this person knows what she's saying. Effective communication, the ability to answer questions that are give relevant answers to questions that are asked that you are asked. When they tell me about yourself, they not tell you to tell them the time when your friend was in hospital and you're able to save her life, or when this. Just short, straight to the point. Give them answers that are very well articulated answers, so that they can see that yes, this person can communicate effectively. Because when you come for graduate studies, you are going to do a lot of presentations. Maybe every course you take, you have to do a presentation on it. If you don't practice effective communication, you're not going to do well in those presentations. So one of the things they look at to see during an interview stage is how effective can this person communicate? How well can this person answer questions? How well can this person ask questions? How confident is the person when talking? Then finally, they want to see that those things you wrote in your CV, in your SOP, the grades, the first class, the 2-1 that you have, you are actually what you say you are. That's what brings me to proving yourself. You have to prove that you're actually what you say you are. Sometimes they ask you, maybe they saw that you graduated undergraduate 2000, your undergraduate degree, you got it in maybe 2020, and this is 2024, you're applying for masters. What happened between 2020 2024? Whatever you are telling them in response to that question should tally with what is in your CV, because these people have gone through your CV. They've seen all the things you listed within the time of within 2020 2024. They've seen everything you listed there. Then they are now asking you what happened, what have you been doing since 2020? You are not telling them a different thing from what you wrote in your CV. You are setting yourself up for failure. So you really have to prove yourself that those things you have submitted to them, this document, these things I've said about myself, is exactly what I am. When you do all of this, you've impressed the examiner, and this is how you get the offer. So I feel like I've talked so much, and this brings me to the end of my presentation. And I think at this point I can start taking questions. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience. It was wonderful. I appreciate that speaker. Can I see some thumbs up or some reactions just to show like, less kindly for taking time to take us through this wonderful topic. And if you have your question, kindly type it in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and we'll get you unmuted. So we have I think we had some questions before now, so I'd like us to go through them before we take those that are raising their hands. The first question reads, if the university responds to our code email and conduct Zoom meeting, can we guarantee of getting scholarship or GRA positions?
Okay.
So
responding to your cold email is not a guarantee that you've gotten a position, but it's a step ahead. It's one step closer. Like, at least this person saw my mail and acknowledged my mail, and the person wants to meet me in person, because that's the reason for the Zoom meeting. They want to really see you in person. They want to hear how you speak. They want to see how you communicate. They want to really see other things about you, not just the fact that you put up a very nice letter and sent to them. So this is the reason why they want to talk with you one-on-one. And secondly, they want to also tell you, these are the positions we have available. What exactly do you want? Okay, maybe you applied, you told them you are interested in their master's degree, their PhD program. They want to tell you, okay, we don't have enough funding for 5 people a PhD. We only have funding for 1, and we already have 1 person. But we have space in our master's program. Are you willing to go for master's? If we give you an offer for master's degree, will you take it? I don't know if you get my point. So it does not guarantee that you are getting the scholarship or you are getting the GRA, but it creates room for negotiation. Right. It creates room for discussion. It creates room for them to get to know you and see if you are the right fit for that position. So it's a step ahead, or it's a step forward.
All right, thank you for that. So the other question is, can a national diploma student apply for scholarship?
Yes. National diploma, not HND. This ND. I don't know
Yes, that
about
is
ND, but I know HND. Yes, you can. But I don't know about ND. ND is just 2 years in school. I don't think 2 years in school is enough for you to go for graduate scholarship, except you are going for undergraduate scholarship. I don't think there's any university in the world where for undergraduate degree you have to spend only 2 years. I don't think 2 years is enough. So, but with HND, you've spent up to 4 years, then it's enough to go for graduate um, diploma and degree. Because I've seen a girl on Facebook, I've forgotten her name, but she was very popular that period with HND. She got 5 offers from 5 different universities with her HND. So I think you can get with HND, but I don't think you can get with ND. 2 years is just too small to have. The person even put a laughing emoji. You're asking the question and you're laughing at yourself. So I think you already know the answer to the question. If you have an ND, just try to maybe complete it HND, then you can apply.
okay. Thank you for that. So for those that raised their hands, we have Mtinde and Samuel Shahumba, Emmanuel,
Okay, but
and
hold on, let me
Abdul
just finish the questions in the comment section. Then we can take the ones raising hand.
All right.
So someone said, can I show a winning SOP? Sure, I can always send you my SOP. I don't mind. At least I applied to about 12 schools and I got like 5 offers. So I think my SOP should be considered a winning SOP. So I can send you my SOP. I will leave my email in the comment section. You can send me an email, then I'll respond with my SOP. So hope that's fine. I don't think, except I can take permission from other of my friends that got offers, then I can also send it theirs. But for now, I have mine and I can send it to you. So if I can get my friends' permission to also send or share their own SOP, then I can send that across. The next question is, if the university, okay, I've answered this one. Is WES necessary? If the school doesn't request for it on their, if the school does not request, it's not necessary. But if you listen to my presentation very well, I said I will advise that if your CGPA is low, try and do WES. There's a chance that WES could increase, not that it is increasing your CGPA literally, but comparing it to this grading standard, which is over 4, it could somehow kind of have a little leap. I don't know how I'll put it, but if your CGPA is like 3 points, but it's still 2.1, no, but it's 3 points, maybe 3.8, very close to 4 points, or even 4.1 or 4.2, you might do WES evaluation and you are having 3/3.6 or 3.7 out of 5. I don't know how they do the evaluation, but it varies. So you might be having 3.7 out of 4 rather in US standard, which is a very good CGPA. So that's the point. But if the school does not request and you know your CGPA is good enough, you don't need it. It's not needed. How do you present 2 research assistant positions out at the same time in a CV? So you did research assistantship in your university twice, or what? I don't really understand this question.
Okay,
So if
I think what the person is trying to say is that when you undertake 2 research assistant positions, that is, you are doing 2 research assistant positions at the same time, like within the same period. So how are you going to present in your CV? You know, if you are writing a CV, like you have different experiences. If there is like different intervals, then you can present based on first time, second. So how are you going to present them?
I
think
think
that is what the person.
you should just include it there, like you did put it there in your research experience that you held this position, you set a position for this other professor and held another position for another professor. If it is in the same school, it's understandable. It's possible for you to be a research assistant to 2 different professors at the same time. But if it's a different school, then you have to get ready to explain, maybe during the interview, how this was possible for you to be conducting research assistantship at different schools. So, but I think you should just put it in your CV, the same way you include all your relevant experiences. Put it there. If they have a problem with it, during the interview, they will ask you the question. But I don't think this would prevent, maybe, let's say you don't get to the interview stage. I don't think this will be a reason why you will not get to the interview stage. If your application is good, it is good. If they have a problem with it, then during the interview, they will ask you, how were you able to run 2 research assistant positions at the same time? So that's what I think. So is there GTA, GA, GRA for MBAs? MBA is Masters in Business Administration, right? I think there's GA and GTA. Business Administration, I don't think it requires research, so they might not be GRA. But generally, for masters, there's GA, there's GTA, there's GRA. For PhD, there's GTA, there's GA, there's GRA. So MBA being a master's, there should also be GTA, GA. But I don't know about GRA. Except if that MBA requires research, then there should be GRA. If the professor you are working with, or the professor is teaching you, or the professor you are assigned to is doing a research, then you could be a GRA for him. Why do your MBA? So there's a possibility. When assisting with 2 research work at the same time. This is a continuation of the other question. I think I've answered it already. So if you have manuscripts submitted for publication, but still under review, will it make sense to add the paper during the publication, assuming I don't have, yes, you can always add your manuscript. You can write it there and put a bracket in review. It's always accepted. There's no problem. You can always add it. Please, can you tell me, should I apply to universities by myself or should I use agency to apply? I will always advise that you apply by yourself. But if you have the opportunity to use an agency, it's okay. But the thing is that when you apply by yourself and you don't get, you know that it's your problem. You cannot think of what did I not do right or what did I do wrong, and try to adjust it in your next application. But if you are applying through agency and you don't get, how do you know what went wrong or what they didn't do right in order to, improve your next application? So personally, I always advise people to do everything by themselves, because when you go for graduate program is stressful. It's strenuous. There's a lot you are going to be doing. There's a lot of writing. There's a lot of presentation. There's a lot of. If you don't go through this process of application, writing your SOP yourself and everything, when you now come to graduate school, you'll be struggling with doing these things yourself. That is the more reason why I say they put students, they allow students to go through this process, because they know that when they come into the program, you still meet similar things like this. So it's like a learning stage for you. But then, if you want to use agency, fine and good. If maybe you're a busy person, you don't have time to run the application by yourself, it's okay. But whatever the outcome is, you can't blame you can't even blame the agency. If you are paying them and you don't get the offer, you're still not getting your money back. So, but if you do it yourself, you can always have a reference or something to improve on in your next application. So I always advise that you do it yourself. Then when you finally get it, you can now coach other people on how to go about it. Because now I'm telling people how to go about theirs, because I've been doing it for a while. If I didn't do it myself, I won't be able to tell you people how to go about it. So, but if you don't care about all of these things I say, then you can use the agency. Can a tutor stand a chance of getting a scholarship? Definitely. I've seen a tutor candidate that got Chevron, but if you see his publication, that when you go through his application, you see the reason why he got it. He has good, like not just having a number of publications. He had reasonable, standard, good, very good publications. Like the area he was writing on was very good. He had relevant work experience. He had done a lot of work. He has done a lot of volunteering. He had a lot of things to back up his CGPA. So they couldn't help but overlook the CGPA and just give him the offer, because he was actually a very solid candidate. So yes, Tutu stands a chance, but you have to have experiences, or you should have what do I call it now? Qualifications that will make you stand out, where first class and 2-1s are also submitted. So you are there. Maybe you're a 2-2 candidate, and the only thing you have is still your 2-2. You don't have any other relevant experience or any skill to back it up. Someone that has 2-1 and first class with skills, experiences, and every other thing will still get it up before you. So for you to not stand out, you should have every other things that will, replace the deficit in your CGPA, something like that. So yes, 2-2, you stand a chance, but you just need to have a very strong application. So I can take the questions from people that want to, and they are raising their hands.
Okay, I think some of them already raised their hand down, maybe because you have answered what they want to. Please unmute your mic and ask your question.
So I've typed my email, so you can always reach me through.
Okay. Let's hear from John.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for this wonderful exposition and eye-opener in the whole application journey. Yeah, my question is concerning those of us who are not really into STEM courses.
Yeah.
Well, for my case particularly, economics and finance, I saw that they are STEM designated. Now, but they don't have anything to do with any lab assistantship or something like that. So in such instances, what are the available chances for getting a GA position? Because you don't have to work in any lab to assist any professor and all of those stuff. So I keep wondering, how is it possible to get any GA positions when you don't have to work in any lab and you don't necessarily require to send a code email to any professor? So that is the first question. And then lastly, for someone who has a 2-2 and has a master's, good master's, does that qualify the person to actually put in, now, of course, work experience as well? Does that qualify the person to gain a scholarship and apply for another master's and gain a scholarship? So those are the two questions I have.
Okay, the first question is you not being in STEM. Now, I was shocked. You know, in chemical engineering, I have colleagues that are working, doing their PhD, but they have never entered the lab before. When you are doing simulation, you don't have any business with the lab. So if you're working with a professor that the person's research and publications is around simulation, all you need is a laptop and computer programming knowledge. You are not entering the lab to do anything. So if you stated in your SOP that your background is in simulation, it did not prevent them from not getting offers. They got offers. They're in chemical engineering, they're in STEM, but they're not in the lab. They're doing nothing in the lab. But they still got, as long as the school you are applying to, the professors are working on publications. They release publications, whether it's in finance or not mathematics, accounting or management courses. As long as the professor you're working with is giving dishing out publications, he's publishing articles and all of that, you can get a research assistant position under him. Even if you don't get research assistantship position, you can get graduate. I told you here that we have GRA, we have GTA, we have GA. GTA is teaching assistantship. You can assist your professor in teaching. You can assist in administrative duties. That's when you're a GA. So we have teaching assistantship, research assistantship, and just assistantship. So you can always get an opportunity. The most important thing is that this school you're applying to, this professor you're applying to needs you. Once he said, yes, you are a good fit, you've seen the requirements he has listed. We need people in this, we need people in this field and that field. It has to be people in your field. You now have to channel your search to schools that are looking for graduates in your field. Yes, I know that STEM courses, especially biology and chemistry-related courses and biology-related courses, they have a lot of funding all over the world, in Europe, in US and everything. As long as your course is related to biology or chemistry, you get a lot of funding. People in management may not be writing a lot of publications like you stated, yes. But as you have to get this information from the professor, and now this is where the code mail comes in. You can always send code mail to any professor that you want to. You've seen a professor, he's a professor in management, he's a professor in accounting or finance. You send him a mail. I want to do a PhD under you. are there opportunities? Do you have space? What are the requirements? This is what I have. These are my qualifications. I have a master's. I have a 2-1 or a 2-2, but then I have a master's with a very good grade in finance. I want to work with you. The professor can call back or respond and tell you, yes, I have this, or no, I don't. Or you go to the website, the university's website. You're interested in University of Alabama. Do they do finance? Do they do managerial courses, management courses? If they do, you go to their graduate page to see if they actually have GA position. I bet you every information is there. It's just that people don't go to these pages. It may be difficult to find those pages, like those particular links in the pages where they stated. But if you take your time on that page, especially if you use a laptop or a screen that is bigger, because you may not see all these things on your phone, but if you use a bigger screen, you will always see every single link on that website. You will see the graduate page. You see the available positions under the graduate page. You can go to the scholarship page. You see available scholarship under those pages. But bet me, every course, as long as there's a PhD available for that course, as in people that study that course do PhD or do masters, there will always be funding for the course, whether in form of full funding, GA, GTA, GRA. There will always be fun. Don't be scared that it's not a STEM-related course. Just, it might be difficult. The problem is that it might be difficult to get, but it exists. That's the point I'm trying to make. Might be a little bit difficult, but it exists. You just have to find out. And I can't really tell you, say, okay, go to this site or go to that site, because I'm in science, engineering to be precise. So I have more information in that area than management or finance or art courses. So, but I bet you that if you look for, you will find. I've seen opportunities in accounting. I've seen a lot of opportunities in accounting. But I don't know about finance or any, but I've seen opportunities in accounting. The most important thing is just for you to search for. So then with your master's degree and your undergraduate degree combined, I think they focus more on the most recent degree you have. So if your most recent degree is master's and you have a very good result, then you have a higher chance. Your master's will always overshadow your undergraduate degree. So the most recent degree you have is master's, and your master's result is very good. Then you are good to go. Don't be scared about what grade you had previously in your undergrad. I don't know if I've answered your question. John. Okay, I don't know if he's still there, but someone else can ask.
Okay, I just tried to unmute him if he can respond, or he can type in the chat. There is another question here that, please, ma'am, can official copy of transcript be used for scholarship application? I think that has been explained, but you can still answer the question. Probably.
Well, if you have access to your official copy, then that's good. You can use it. I talked about student copy because that's what I have access to. Or I had my school gives the students copy. So if you have the official copy, then it's perfect. You can always use your official copy.
Hello, my sister.
But then again, even if you submit this official copy, the school, that university, they are taking you, they accept you, they will still request that your school submit the main copy, their own copy to them. They want to be sure that what you submitted to them is real, because students are mischievous. They can go and, edit the transcript or anything. So they still want that copy from your school directly to them. So whatever copy you're using as your official copy, they will still request that your school sends to them. And someone said, can you share also social media handle for mentorship? I think WhatsApp is good for me. If you want to reach me, you can always reach me through WhatsApp or email. Social media handle, I don't know. I only open my LinkedIn to look for opportunities and go out, that's all. And same thing with Twitter. So maybe when you reach me, if you send me an email, I can send you my phone number so that you can reach me through WhatsApp. Also, I had to communicate with one professor from NIU University, USA. So he told me to apply to go university as I have good background, but I still didn't do my IELTS because of that. I can't submit it, otherwise all documents are uploaded. So should I ask professor about that? So you didn't do IELTS and they asked you to submit IELTS on the website. And because you don't have IELTS, you could not submit. Is that your question? Well, if IELTS, if that is a requirement, like compulsory requirement, and you are from an English-speaking country, one thing I would advise you to do is to write to the graduate admissions committee responsible for that application to tell them that you are from an English-speaking country, number one. Then if you have an access to that English attestation from your school, you can also attach it to the mail and tell them that you have this to attest to the fact that your course, your undergraduate degree or whatever degree you had was taken in English. But you have to mail them first. Then they can waive it for you. When I applied to Colorado, University of Colorado, they asked for English certificate. I had to mail them with my English attestation that I took my degree in English and I'm from an English-speaking country. They gave me a code that when I'm submitting, that will allow me to submit without uploading IELTS. So you just have to prove to them that you have something to show that you are an English speaker. But then if after that they don't accept, I would advise that you just try another school, because if they say they want English, you can't do anything about it. They really want that proof that you passed IELTS, then after telling them in email that you speak English very well and they still are adamant, just try another university or reach out to the professor to see if he can help you, because that's their requirement and it came from the authorities. So I don't know. You can't change their mind. Sorry, if you can't change their mind, then just change the school. That's what I mean. Okay, you're not from an English speaking country. Oh my God. Then you really need the IELTS. I'm sure they will not waive it for you. I'm 100% sure that they won't waive it. So you really need to write it. So it's either you wait when you're done writing it and you get the result, then you can upload it. But for non-English speaking countries, I'm sure that IELTS TOEFL must always be a requirement for you. So that's that. I think that's all the questions. If I've not answered your question, you can still indicate. But to the best of my knowledge, I feel like I've answered all the questions here. So thank you very much for listening to me.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. Yeah, I think you have dealt with all the questions. Thank you very much for your time. So I'll be inviting someone very important to also make some comment. That is the president of Precious Fountain Foundation. But before doing that, I want to say a few more things. I sent 2 links to the group. There are links to WhatsApp platforms that are created by Precious Fountain Foundation, where you can get to meet other persons and you get to see other opportunities as well, like seminars like this. So I will encourage everyone to join the group in case you are not there, because it's very important that you get an access to such opportunities. And if you want to chat with us, or if you have anything, you can always go to any social media platform, be it LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Just send a private message or just send a message to our platform, and then there are people that are going to respond to you. And you can also follow those platforms. The name is a Precious Fountain Foundation. So once you follow us, you are going to get updates on our events, and from there you'll be able to join us and know when we are having an event that may interest you. So now I'll be inviting Mr. Christian Soprochu, that is the president of Precious Fountain Foundation, for his comment and also closing remarks for this session.
I want to thank you so much, Solace, for deciding to do this. This has always been something that is very dear to my heart, and that is talking about how to do scholarship applications. And there is really no better way to put it other than you must get your hands soiled. You must get to it yourself. If you want a scholarship, if you really believe that you have more than it takes and that your academics needs to be furthered, by all means, get into it. The people that are doing it don't have 2 heads, like our parents used to say. And many times, the whole situation looks really difficult. It looks like something that people that are very smart do. You know, when you think of scholarship application, you think, oh my God, I'm not that smart. And I used to think that way too. I'm serious. I used to think that oh, scholarship applications are meant for really intelligent people and that I'm not intelligent enough. Until I got down to it and I actually saw that the thing is not rocket science. And if you don't put yourself out there, nobody is going to take you serious. And one thing I will invite you to do is to hang out with people who already have traveled and are studying so that you see that they are not spirits. Nothing is, there's nothing special about them. Some of them have 2-2, some of them have 2-1, some of them have first class, some of them you have better results than them. But there is really nothing you will learn if you don't try. And I want to also mention that, you see, Solace said she had 5 offers, but she also mentioned that she did 12 applications. That is 7 schools did not even respond to her. Do you understand that? That means 7 schools did not think that this brilliant young woman now that is telling us how she went about it deserves their time. But you know what? She did not listen to those 7 schools because there were 5 that agreed with her. And out of that 5, she had 1 that she really wanted to work with. And that is what I'm telling you guys now, which is don't listen to the disappointment. Go ahead and tell your story. You have an audience out there. There is a school waiting for you. All the application fees, all the listening that she spent, she gets it back now that she has seen a school that agrees with her story. You know, I'm sure if you were her, by the time the 7th school rejected you, you might say, "Oh man, I'm gonna stop." But you just have to keep going because it's a difficult journey, it's a long journey, but somebody has to do that journey. And another thing I would say is that take advantage of opportunities like this one that we present. If you are somebody that has volunteered for opportunities, you have leadership experience, you work for NGOs like PFF, put that in your application. Let people see that you are somebody that is doing things. And some of these things we do it because we believe in the future of the Nigerian person. We know that you as a person are important. We believe in you. We trust that your your ability to get things done will show off in like you are an example that others can follow. And you may be doubting yourself, but we are not doubting you. And there's one more thing I'll say. If you look at all of this and you think that, oh, I want to be part of organizations like PFF, just shoot us an email or go into Francis's DM and you can participate in what we do. You know, but by all means, do not self-select yourself out. Don't say I can't do this, so I will not be a part of it. You are the person we are looking for. Your story deserves to be told. I remember one day I was in an event before I even started applying anywhere at all. And one young man that had just finished his master's in the UK was speaking. That was in 2018. And I was like, man, look at this guy. So when we finished, I spoke with him. He just told me, so these things are not so difficult. Next stop, you know, try your hands on it. And I did, and it worked out for me. I know it will work out for many of you here that take this thing serious. If you want further information, please join our groups like Francis have mentioned. Send us messages on WhatsApp. We are eager to listen to you and to work with you to make your dreams happen. And yeah, you are an important person and deserve the opportunities that will come your way. So that's all I have to say, and I will look forward to getting your responses. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments and remarks. So with that, I will say that we have come to the end of this session. But do not forget to follow Precious Fountain Foundation on our social media platforms. And if you have any question, feel free to reach out to us and we're going to respond to you instantly. So thank you all for joining. See you next time.